And we're live. Hello, everybody. So elephant in the room. Why am I wearing a fancy collared shirt? That's a button down, nonetheless. No, that's not really the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is probably the bandage that it's covering. So same reason. If you are unfamiliar with a little bit of my own history, then you will maybe not know that I was in a car accident in January. And let me share my screen. I should have brought this up earlier, but I did not. So let's see. Twitter, search KCD Odds, and I don't, yeah, car, or let's see, truck. No, we'll look at the top. Here we go. Nope, that is just some pictures of the accident, but not my, from KCD Odds. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so this accident broke my collarbone, and yeah, it was pretty bad, actually. That was me. Actually, you know what? I've got an even more mind-blowing image here. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think I shared it on, or I think I did share it on Twitter, just not on that thread. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. This one blows my mind. So I was driving down this road. It was not nighttime. This, of course, was hours later, but yeah, at like 6:04, it was starting to become nighttime. So I was driving along this road, and a truck came barreling this way at 80 miles an hour and ran the stop sign. Of course, this is a residential area, so why were they going 80 miles an hour? I don't know. They were not under the influence of anything. They just were being not smart. So anyway, they hit me. And so we travel from this point of impact all the way over here. And he rolled. That mark is actually still on the sidewalk. I drive by this all the time, and that mark is still from his wheels. So he rolled through the entire length of this fence and stopped at this fence. So anyway, pretty wild. And so I broke my collarbone and my teeth. These are crowns, and also had several other injuries. And so they put a plate in here, and I should have brought my plate. I actually still have it. I should have brought it to show you. But anyway, got that plate removed today or yesterday. And so that's why I have the bandage on again, even though this was way back in January, because I decided to get it removed because I didn't like it. And so I am in a little bit of pain, but I really just hate just sitting around doing nothing. So we are doing office hours. So there you go. Elephant in the room has been explained. Now we can do office hours. There are plenty of questions on the Discord. This is where you ask questions throughout the week. And then I just go through these. But if you join the Zoom call, then you can ask your questions ahead of any of these. So Renee, I see that you're here. Did you have any questions, or are you just hanging out today?
Hanging out for now.
Okay.
Sorry
Super.
about your bad experience.
Yeah, it was pretty not fun.
Yeah, both the car that you just talked about, but I just saw your blog post about the workshop. Or not the workshop, the
conference.
Conference.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've
So
seen like a lot of people have shared that sentiment, which is a real bummer.
yeah, it really is. So for folks watching, you will not find this blog post on my main listing of blog posts because I didn't feel like it's not really relevant to what people are following me for. But if you want to find it, it's my modern front ends experience. Oh man, maybe it's modern front ends. No, see, I can't even find it. And it's also there's a no index on this page, so you won't find it through Google. Let's see, what did I call it? Modern front ends live experience. There it is. That's what it is. So you take any one of these and you replace this part with kentcdodds.com and you'll get the rendered version of it. Anyway, it was not good. So feel free to read it. I'm not even going to link to it, so you'll have to type it in yourself. But yeah, thanks for the kind words, Renee.
You bet.
All right, so let's get rolling on this stuff. Okay, I think right here, Justy. Oh yeah, so Justin asked a question while on the live stream. Was this last week? Yeah, and had did what I said and it worked out, and which is always nice to hear. So if you ever get my advice from me and then implement it and it works, please let me know. If it doesn't work, maybe don't tell me. No, just kidding. I want to know that too. So I'm just going to mention answering this now. I think we do only have 2 question askers today, so should be relatively quick. I'm just going to look at those messages that you're probably seeing pop up just to see if they're urgent or if I can wait on these. Okay. Okay, cool. Oh, that doesn't feel awesome. Okay, it's not urgent. Okay, best way to make action data type in the jokes tutorial more generic. So Justin or Justy, the jokes tutorial does need an update, and the docs actually need an update in general as well, because there's a much better way to do typing for both loaders and actions. Let me illustrate. Probably the advanced remix workshop I've got is pretty good. Good place to find this. So action. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so in the early days of Remix, you would define your actions and loaders like this: export const action function equals, and then you could get your request params and all that, yada yada. But somebody made a contribution to Remix that necessitated changing the way that you do this to instead just type the parameters. But if you do, then you can actually type of the action. And here we're doing type of loader. You can also do type of action, which I'm doing to actually, you know what, even better. This is another change. Later, we added the ability to do type of for fetchers too. So this would be the way that you would do this. And yeah, now you don't need to do that. Probably. Yeah, there's something that's strange. Oh, I'm using an old version. So yeah, newer version, this will work. But if you happen to be on the version that I'm on, then you can use serialize. Oh, actually, man, use action data or use data function. Yeah, this is what it used to be called. So then it changed to serialize from, and then it changed to where you don't need to use this at all. But in any case, now, man, okay, it's not working. Use a recent version and this will work and it will be amazing. So anyway, I think in the jokes tutorial, we don't even use fetcher anyway. We use action data, and you can type of action and you get your types. Action data. Let's see if that'll work here. Yeah, it doesn't. That's too bad. Just an old version of the repo or of Remix. So anyway, that is how you type stuff now is you use the action args or loader args, or actually what I've been doing more is because loaders and actions receive the same arguments, I now do data function args for everything. So loaders and actions, they both take data function args, and then whatever they return, you always have to make sure that they're returning JSON or they're throwing responses. So that's actually, this is why it was typed as any, because I just returned a new response because I didn't care. If I return JSON with errors as null, then, and I'm actually, now I'm pretty sure this will work. So use fetcher. So if I say, what did I call it? Use data, yeah, and then type of action. So again, you won't have to do the use data function return. You can just say type of action. Then yeah, now we get errors or errors is null, which is sweet. So I can come down here, don't have to worry about that nonsense. So now I get either errors is an object with an amount and a deposit date, or it's null, or it's undefined because we haven't done the fetcher yet. So that's pretty sweet. That's how I would improve the jokes tutorial is I would just get rid of this type altogether. One tip about that is you want to make sure that your action function returns the same shape with every single JSON call that you make. Otherwise, the typings can be all over the place. So it can, or either that, or you have a what's called a what is it called? It's a property normally called type or status or something used to differentiate between the different types of objects. And sometimes I've also had to add an as const here, so that TypeScript is like, oh, okay, so it's only possibly ever this combination of properties for this specific return, which is kind of annoying, but it works, and it's type safe across the wire, and you don't have to manually construct this, which is fantastic. And then you don't have to do action data, like you don't need to use the generic on JSON. It's awesome. So hopefully that answers your question. And then the second question, is there a nice TypeScript way to get form data to respect what those fields are in the action data type? Yeah, so kind of back with the action data. So you're not going to have action data, but you do want to have some kind of help when you're getting values out of form data. Like I've got form data right here. You're like, I want to get the amount and the deposit date and the note. So unfortunately, no, TypeScript has no way of knowing that this action was called with this form at all. Like this action could be called by somebody curling the URL. So there's really no way to be 100% sure of what fields are in the form, and like having form data be all type safe for you, which is why I have all these invariants. I'm actually pretty happy with this, but a lot of people have worked on various solutions to this to make it a little more like palatable, so that you don't have to do invariants all over the place. And if you were doing like a ton of forms, then it might be worthwhile looking into various form solutions. A lot of solutions use some sort of schema validation library. My favorite of the schema validation libraries is Zod. So I'll reference you to that. Zod, it's fantastic. Good way, even if you aren't using a form library, you could just use that to do a schema validation. And I may end up doing that in Epic Web with Rocket Rental. Right now, I'm trying to go as far as I can without bringing in a bunch of abstractions, but I think eventually I'll probably bring that in. I just need to make sure I can figure out how to get those error messages that it generates into like translation strings for internationalization. So I'm pretty sure that's possible, but yeah, that's what I do. Hopefully this is helpful. And you can actually find all of this code. It's on my GitHub at Advanced Remix. And then where we're looking right now is in the final exercise for skeletons. But yeah, it's like a duplicate app all over the place. And as you saw, it is already a tiny bit dated, but should give you some good ideas. So good luck. Okay, Steve. So Steve, I'm a little concerned looking at this. Oh, hey, Justin. Welcome to the Zoom. Did you have any follow-up questions? Just connecting to audio. So just give Justin a second.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yeah. Hey there. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going? How did surgery go? You all right?
Yeah, I'll survive. Yeah, I'm happy it's done. After this, I'm gonna go take a bath because I can't get it wet, but I stink. So.
Nice. Well, I'm glad to know that it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry I'm a little late. Did you already answer the question?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I did. Yeah, if you want to, you could just go to the YouTube, like mute yourself, go to the YouTube, watch it back, and that way, if you had any follow-ups, you can ask me, and I'll just go through Steve's. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, cool. All right, Steve. So I'm a little concerned because there's just so much text here, but you're lucky because nobody else has asked any questions, so we have time to read through all this. But generally, please try to keep your questions relatively short, because it's just a lot harder to answer big questions like this. But I am going to say answering this now so that Steve knows that this is happening. Okay, personal project. I don't like planning, just like coding. Yeah, project grow in scope and complexity becomes harder to maintain, probably because you haven't planned it as what I think you're insinuating. Skip, if you know what an auxiliary bus is. No, I don't. Audio mixer channel that receives the output from any audio channel routed to it. It's used to control the effects and volume of multiple audio channels with one fader. Interesting. For example, if there's 7 different audio channels for a drum kit, they're individually mixed and routed to a bus controlled one instrument. Okay. The ability to do solo tracks is an important feature of an audio mixing console, as it allows for instruments to be listened to in isolation. Okay, solar mixer channel. All other channels must be muted, which is easy. Solo button is clicked, find out which channel it was, and set every other channel's volume to 0. Soloing a bus channel is a bit more tricky than soloing a track channel. The track channel solo function won't work because when a bus channel is soloed, it mutes all the tracks being sent to it, resulting in the entire song being muted. To deal with that, every channel must be looped through to check if it's being sent to that bus. And if it is, it should not be muted. Otherwise, it should. Multiply that by a number of auxiliary buses, affects modules and audio tracks, and state can start getting pretty complex. Okay, there's a lot of situations, much more complicated than that, and they're all interconnected. So I fix a bug in one spot, it could cause a bug in another. I know that this is what testing is for. Yes, that is. Having said that, any testing I've tried, and it would be hard to test as well, but just because there are so many permutations. But yeah, that is what testing is for. Any testing, like basically you think of what are you doing when you make a change to make sure you didn't break anything, turn that thing into a test every time. Having said that, any testing I've tried to learn seems too basic for these types of situations, only dabbled. So stop dabbling. My coding goal for 2023 is get better at dealing with these complex types of state by integrating a testing library like Cypress or Playwright, or a state management library like XState. Why not both? Okay, question. What would be more helpful for preventing bugs in an interactive media app with complex state? A state management library like XState? And yeah, the answer is both. XState will help you create the possible states, and the testing libraries will help you avoid causing bugs. And which would you prefer for this application? Either one will serve you very well. Cypress has, in my opinion, better DX currently. I think Playwright is going to up its game in the future. But yeah, I think you're good with either one. For me, I'm leaning more toward Playwright for new stuff, but I still don't have any problem recommending Cypress. Cypress is still a fantastic tool. So whichever you feel more comfortable using. Okay, and then we got more background. So only if you need it. Effect is changed while the song's playing, reacts to a state change. The second effect on bus 1 was changed from reverb to delay, but they can't simply be swapped out. In order to change from one effect to another, the effects being replaced needs to be disconnected from the audio chain. Otherwise, it will still be active when the new effect tries to replace it, causing both to be hardlined simultaneously, which is a bug. Can't be disconnected. Yeah, there's a lot of information in here that I don't think is relevant to the answer to the question, unless you expect me to code this, which of course I don't think you do. So yeah, I think XState is good for managing complex state and transitions between them. That's exactly correct. I use XState, interestingly, also for audio. The only time I've actually got a production use of XState is for this, and I think you know this. But yeah, this is all controlled with XState. Pause, remove, stop, re-record, everything starting from like the entire recording experience is controlled by XState. So I'm a big fan. I think it's fantastic. I think you should use both. The answer is both. Do both. Okay, great. That is it. So it looks like Amir is asking a question right now. Any questions from, I don't mind quitting early and going to take my bath, but I also don't mind hanging out and answering other questions. So feel free to shoot your questions along. Yeah, Justin, did you get a chance to listen to my answer, and was it satisfactory?
I didn't. I'm sorry. I'm kind of
that's okay.
Working away over here.
No worries. That's fine. If you do have a follow-up, just come back next week.
Yeah, that sounds good. Are there a bunch of other questions in the queue?
No, if you've got more, happy to answer any other questions you got.
This one's a little specific, and I think depending on whether you've used the tools or not before, you might have an answer. So in my app, I'm using the code gen, the GraphQL code gen library to forget what it's called, retrospect or introspect or whatever my
Hmm.
GraphQL API and like
Okay.
and build like all the damn it, sorry. Types and stuff in Remix.
Sure.
And one thing that has like been like really weird is I can't seem to get, so I'm building my queries up to my GraphQL API based on the documents that are generated by CodeGen.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't seem to get my types right, like when I pull them out of the data. And I think I'm just like missing something. It might help if I literally share my screen. Are you down for that?
Yeah, actually, Justin, I've not ever used that tool, and I don't
Okay.
know if I will be very helpful. It's years ago that I used GraphQL,
No worries.
and I'm sure the tools have changed too. So sorry, but if you can maybe try and create a minimal reproduction, or just provide a bunch of context and put it in the help channel as a forum post, then maybe somebody else would be able to help out.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Sorry, I can't be more helpful. I do try to be honest with my level of experience, though, and try not to
Yeah,
BS myself or my way
no,
through answering questions I don't know the answers to.
totally appreciate it, man.
Yeah, cool. Okay, Amir asked some remix related questions. So some of my routes are role-based restricted. Is it enough to authorize the user in one loader and then assume all the nested routes are secure, or do I need to authorize my user in every single loader? This is a great question, Amir. So right now you do have to authorize your user in every single loader. And the reason for that is because these loaders, there's a couple reasons. These loaders are not guaranteed to run parent to child. And so if you've got like a list detail UI, as the user lands on the page, all of the loaders are going to be called. But if they navigate between different contacts or whatever, only one of those loaders are going to be called. It's not going to recall the root loader. So and that's one reason. Another reason is the loaders are all called in parallel. And so if you only put the check in one, it's still going to be executing the code in the others. And then finally, people can hit these URLs directly. Each loader is represented by a specific URL. And so they can hit that with curl and get access to all your data. So you do have to add it to every loader. I can appreciate why that doesn't sound super appealing. And so that's one reason why in the Remix, actually, I think Remix as roadmap is a thing now. Oh man. Okay, Remix, GitHub, Remix roadmap. Yeah, it's project 5. So the Remix roadmap has a middleware planned, and I'm thinking maybe not by Christmas, but soon thereafter, there will be this concept of it's not really middleware, it's actually just a before loader, probably is what it will be called, that allows you to say, hey, from this loader on down, I don't want any of those loaders to be called until this one is finished. And then I believe that whatever this returns will be accessible by the children loaders, including the one where it's defined. And that will be the solution. And so you have like a /auth part of your app. You just put a single loader there that makes sure they're authenticated. Everything will be taken care of for you. So this is what you're looking for. And I will link to this in Discord here. So that's what you want. But until then, you're going to need to put the auth check on every single loader and action. There probably should be, there's probably going to be a before action as well. That's my guess. So yeah, there you go. Cool. Any other questions? It doesn't look like there are any in Discord. Any other questions here in Zoom? Okie doke. All right. Thanks, everybody. Had a good time. And I do believe, let me check on something here really quick. Yes, next week I do not have anything going on that would prevent me from doing this again. And as a reminder, you can always go to kcdodds.com/live to see when I'll be live streaming. I actually didn't live stream Wednesday at all. I was supposed to have surgery that day. That got canceled, and I was just nervous about surgery yesterday. And so I couldn't bring myself to work on any live stream stuff. So sorry about that. But yeah, next week I should be live streaming most of next week. I'm not sure if I'm going to be live streaming all the way through the 22nd. I'm not sure which one of these days my kids get off of school, but pretty much as soon as they get off of school, I'm going to be done until probably after New Year's. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, pretty positive I'll be doing office hours next week. So thanks, everybody.
Get well.
Thank you. We'll see ya.